Microsoft's August 11th Patch Tuesday lands with 402 CVEs. The one update that cannot wait is CVE 2026-68820, a Windows ancillary function driver for WinSock local elevation of privilege bug. It is the only item in this top 5 with a CISA KEV exploited flag, and that changes the order. Patch exposed and high-value Windows systems first, then move fast on SharePoint. Ranks 2 through 5 are all SharePoint server issues, including remote code execution, spoofing, deserialization, and privilege escalation. EPSS percentile is 0 across this top 5, so the real signal here is KEV status, impact, exposure, and patch availability. Number 1 is CVE 2026-68820. This is a use-after-free issue in the Windows ancillary function driver for WinSock, usually shortened to AFD. In plain English, it is a Windows networking component bug that can let an already authorized local attacker gain higher privileges on the machine. This is not the highest CVSS score in the list. It is 7.0, rated high. It earns the top slot because CISA KEV says it is already exploited. EPSS percentile is 0, but KEV beats prediction here. Prioritize domain controllers, admin workstations, remote access servers, jump boxes, and any Windows system where a local foothold would create a bigger incident. Number 2 is CVE 2026-64901 in Microsoft Office SharePoint. This is deserialization of untrusted data that can allow an authorized attacker to execute code over a network. Plain English, a logged-in or otherwise authorized user path can become server-side code execution. That is serious for any organization running on-prem SharePoint, especially internet-facing portals, partner portals, and collaboration sites used by many internal users. It is not in CISA KEV, and EPSS percentile is 0, so there is no strong public exploitation signal in this data. But the CVSS score is 8.8 high, the impact is code execution, and SharePoint often sits close to sensitive documents and identity-integrated workflows. Number 3 is CVE 2026-64900, also in Microsoft Office SharePoint. This one is improper neutralization of input during web page generation, the class commonly known as cross-site scripting. Microsoft lists the impact as spoofing over a network by an authorized attacker. In practical terms, this belongs on the priority list because SharePoint is a browser-based collaboration platform. User trust, document access, and internal workflows all pass through it. The CVSS score is 7.3 high. CISA KEV is no, and EPSS percentile is 0, so it ranks below the exploited Windows bug and below the SharePoint code execution items. Still, patch it with the same SharePoint maintenance window. Number 4 is CVE 2026-63514. Like CVE 2026-64901, this is deserialization of untrusted data in Microsoft Office SharePoint. The stated impact is code execution over a network by an authorized attacker. It carries a CVSS score of 8.8 high. It is not in CISA KEV, and EPSS percentile is 0. So why is it still high on the list? Because the affected product is SharePoint Server. The attack path is network reachable, and the impact is code execution. If you operate SharePoint farms, do not split this into a later cycle unless you have a strong business reason. Bundle it with the other SharePoint fixes and verify farm health after patching. Number 5 is CVE 2026-62827 in Microsoft Office SharePoint. This is an improper authentication issue that can allow an authorized attacker to elevate privileges over a network. Plain English, SharePoint may fail to enforce authentication or authorization correctly in a way that gives a user more access than intended. The CVSS score is 8.8 high. CISA KEV is no, and EPSS percentile is 0. It ranks 5th because it lacks the exploited signal of CVE 2026-68820 and sits behind the SharePoint code execution items. But do not treat it as low risk. SharePoint permissions often map to sensitive files, business processes, and internal data. After these 5, there are 397 other CVEs in the August 2026 Microsoft batch. Treat them as a portfolio, not as background noise. Sort them by product, exposure, asset criticality, and whether the affected systems are internet-facing, identity-facing, or used by administrators. The honest reason they can wait behind this top 5 is simple. Based on the ranking inputs provided here, they do not outrank an actively exploited Windows privilege escalation or the highest impact SharePoint server issues. That does not mean ignore them. It means sequence the work. Patch the top risks first, then move through the rest using your normal testing rings and maintenance windows. Here is the practical order for this week. First, deploy the Windows update for CVE 2026-688-2020 to the systems where privilege escalation would hurt most: domain controllers, admin endpoints, remote access infrastructure, servers with many users, and high-value workstations. Second, patch SharePoint server farms for CVE 2026-64901, CVE 2026-64900, CVE 2026-63514, and CVE 2026-62827 in one planned maintenance window where possible. Third, validate SharePoint services, search, workflows, authentication, and user access. Fourth, continue through the remaining 397 CVEs by exposure and business criticality. Fifth, confirm patch reporting from your endpoint tool, vulnerability scanner, and SharePoint inventory. 3 beats to close. First, August 2026 is a large Microsoft month at 402 CVEs, but the first move is clear. Patch CVE 2026-6820 because it is in CISA KEV as exploited. Second, SharePoint Server owns the next 4 slots: CVE 2026-64901, CVE 2026-64900, CVE 2026-63514, and CVE 2026-62827. If you run SharePoint, schedule that work now and validate after. Third, use ranking to reduce noise. KEV impact exposure, CVSS, EPSS, and patch status should drive the order. The free field guide is linked below. The daily ranked CVE brief runs every day on this channel.